What's up, guys? So, welcome back. Podcast number 5. All right. And we are blessed to be here. So, God, thank you, of course, for giving us another opportunity. And I hope that what we have to say today can inspire, help someone today. My name is Walter.
And I'm Jennifer.
And this is our
marriage journey.
Let's do this. Today's podcast, communication. Very, very important. And we said on the last podcast a little bit of this. And of course, today we're not reading off a book, but I did a research. And of course, this percentage depends on who you ask and where you're getting your resources at. However, let me read. According to research, while the national divorce rate is declining, ongoing communication difficulties are the number one reason couples divorce in the United States. So according to this one study, 67% of marriages that end did so primarily due to communication problems. So communication is important. You agree?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and we do have a Bible verse today for this podcast. What you got?
So the verse for today is James 1:19. Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger.
So communication is great. So let's get started and let's do this. Okay, communication is a very strong subject. And I believe that, I've mentioned this, that the lack of communication and relationship is probably a lot stronger than a lot of us realize. And of course, for our marriage, we lacked before the whole big separation. Again, guys, we are not perfect. This is not perfect marriage. We will mess up. We'll make errors. We'll say things that we shouldn't say. But at the end of the day, can we communicate that effectively after that, right? However, I do want to share something because we are very excited about this coming weekend. And there's a phrase that I've been saying to you about being comfortable. What is it?
Get used to being uncomfortable.
Yeah. No.
Something about
Get comfortable
being uncomfortable.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What do you think I'm saying that for?
Because I get very uncomfortable when we sit in the front row of things.
Right.
And when I'm speaking in front of people or a crowd.
Okay.
And we're about to do that this weekend.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own perspective of things. Just because you say something doesn't matter, or it doesn't mean that the other person understands 100% of what you just communicated. So I've been telling her, get comfortable getting uncomfortable. For me, for what I was trying to say, that it wasn't just for her, this is for us as a family, because where God has us going, He has big plans for us. And we're going to get in situations that we will be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Means that, we're going to have to do things, and of course, in a good way, but things that we're not used to, right? Mm-hmm. And so get comfortable getting uncomfortable, because we're moving. I asked God to show me His plans for us, for myself. And of course, she's my better half, so she'll be with me the whole time, whether she likes it or not. And of course, for me, speaking, so you will be asked to speak, right?
Yeah.
And we mentioned this.
Yes.
So get comfortable, getting uncomfortable, because it's coming, and it's coming
I'm about
fast.
to do it this weekend.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, what we doing this weekend?
So this weekend we are the host, well, not the host, but the guest at a marriage conference going to be held in Hamptonville, North Carolina.
Yeah, nice. And it's a big deal. All right, so I thought, and I think the same thing for you, that there was going to be multiple couples.
Yes.
And
Definitely
that's not the
thought that.
case.
Definitely not. We were told Saturday we are the main event. So
Yeah. But
we are it.
Yeah, we are it. And we're excited. Again, something uncomfortable. And even though I've done this for a long time, speaking on camera, doing all this, to me looks easy. And I know that you see me speak before, and you don't look nervous up there. Let me tell you, I still get nervous. I shake sometimes, and you don't notice.
He doesn't turn red like I do, though.
Yeah.
Like it's visibly, like people can tell.
Yeah. But I mean, but this is where we're going. This is where I'm going, right? Doesn't mean that she will do, the speaking all the time, but of course she will be asked to speak. And I think we discussed this, and I told you whether you like it or not, it's coming. So whether you want to get prepared now, or you're gonna have to just get into it and do it. So we are very excited in communication. So we gotta be communicating in front of other people now. This is a pay event. We don't get paid, but people are paying. And of course, we don't want to take the credit. This is God working in us. So people's gonna pay to see us speak, to see what God has done in our marriage, what He has done for us. And without Him, we wouldn't be here. However, I'm excited because this is the first event that we get to sit and talk to out, and it's a pay event. Like, people pay to come and enjoy this time, and this is one of many.
Yeah.
One of many. So we are very excited, and she's very nervous. So you better get comfortable, get
Pray
uncomfortable.
for me.
There you go. All right, guys. So communication. We're not always gonna agree with each other. Simple. We found out that we don't. And let me tell you that before this, we did a whole recording, and then we went on to this thing about how we disagree on something we just had a disagreement on this past weekend. We're not always going to agree with each other sometimes. Okay? So tell me today, and we'll move forward. And again, we are not experts at this. We're learning
Every day.
every day. But here's the thing is, the reason we're doing this, I'm not waiting for the perfect moment. What is the perfect moment? What is the right moment? It's when it's time to go and we have everything we need. God has given us the opportunity to do this. And again, 2 years from now, 3 years ago, I would never thought that you and I will be sitting doing a podcast, talking about marriage, something I was failing at myself. And I'm speaking for myself. I don't know how you feel about that. But a promise that I made to God that I will keep, I was failing at. And now we're here. So we're not perfect, but we want to talk about this journey that we have going on. So what is a few types of communication?
So a few types of communication. There's verbal, nonverbal, email, text, visual, I guess you could say.
Okay. Written. You have written.
Yeah. You can,
and visual.
I
Okay.
do write you notes.
Yeah. So that's 4. Okay. That's 4 important ones. And I think we from the beginning, we have a lot of growth opportunity. So verbal, right? Before we didn't speak much. And you mentioned the piece where very directive. Why, where, when, how.
It was more questioning each other than it was communication. I feel like in our past relationship, it was more, what are you doing? Where are you at?
Right.
What time are you going to be here? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you? It wasn't really, hey, how was your day? Or
right. And then I think now it changed, and yes, before I felt like I was being interrogated, especially at the last minute. Like she was being, I mean, literally
he didn't care what I
me.
did or where I was.
I didn't, and especially at the end, it was, I felt that the marriage was over anyway. So it didn't really matter. I wouldn't ask anything. She would ask, but I mean, at one point I wouldn't even answer because he.
But I got to the point where I didn't ask you though, too. So.
And we care. So communication, verbal communication, and is great. The next one will be.
Well, let me just say one
Okay.
thing. So now our communication is more, it is verbal, like, how was your day? How is this? What the kids, this and that. And I do think we do a great job with, like, hey, I'm running to the store. Just, not to, like, confirm or to make that person aware of every move you're making. Because
Right.
some people require that in a relationship. Like, we don't do that. But I think out of respect, we still kind of let each other know if something changes in our
Right.
day that's out of the ordinary. Or I do it mainly for, like, safety. Like, if me and Noli's going to the store or something, just so
Right.
y'all know where we're at or where,
Yeah. So in your relationship, you will set the tone for your relationship. What communication? What is it that you require from your partner?
Yeah.
And it's a two-way street, right? I don't require anything. But I think we both agree that we'll communicate. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
going here and I'm going there. Again, is just a safety thing. It's not that we doing to make sure that they have to know where we going.
Right.
Each know. I trust her as much as she trusts me.
Yeah.
And before it wasn't like this. It
No,
was no
it
trust
was.
at all anymore. Different kind of trust. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's a different podcast, right?
Yeah.
Nonverbal.
Nonverbal. So I think that's with your body language, just how do you present yourself
Right.
to someone.
Okay. And, again, nonverbal for me is silent.
Yeah, you're.
Silence it was worse. We got back together, guys. We got back together. We didn't go from 0 to 100. Okay. We didn't, to me, it took adjustment.
Yeah.
Okay. It took a lot of adjustment. And I'm still in that process. Okay. So before it was, I cut myself off. I didn't say anything. And sometimes I just leave. That was it.
Yeah.
But we never communicated anything. It just became a habit and worse and worse. And as our relationship worsened, it just became, a thing. I didn't want to argue. I shut myself off and I just walk off. So that's still communication. It wasn't the right kind of communication. And just kind of, it just something. But now, even if I do it sometimes, because I want to reevaluate things now.
Yeah.
Like
now it's more, you're not mad, like you're upset, or you need to process what you want to say, or our discussion when we
Right.
discussed it, which we learned at marriage counseling. Like, that's okay. Like, I'm a person that wants it settled, reconciled right then and there. Like, I can't be okay with my day unless we're okay. But I learned what yours is the, let me process this, let me take this in, let me step away, and then come back and
right.
and talk about
But
it.
we have to talk about it. We can't just stop that. We have to come back and talk about it.
But you got to give that person that needs that
Yes.
space to process, and then as long as they come back with you, I think our counselor said, 1 to 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, don't
At
wait
least
a week.
Don't go past
Yeah.
a certain point, because then you just
It never
you hold
gets
it
resolved.
in. Yeah, it will never get resolved. And it is important for you to talk over it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. We learned this in counseling. I explained that before to her, and as much she explained, but we never want to hear it. We didn't want. I didn't care. She didn't care. We never want to hear. We only wanted them to see our side, but not. We never wanted to see that. This is where counseling helped a lot to oversee a lot of things that we needed to work on, even though we already knew. But that third person just seems to help.
Yeah.
Period. Okay, for us. Written communication.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. So text
Yeah.
is a written type of written communication. We didn't use it in the right concept before.
Yeah.
We have very big arguments through text,
Yeah.
which now I look back and it's ridiculous. Why? Why did we wasted the time? But again, it's a process.
Yeah.
Some of you might be going through the same thing now. Don't argue through text. I'm not going to argue through text because something you write is a lot different.
Yeah.
And again, the whole process in silence for me is process because I don't want to sometimes if we get upset, we just want to say everything and anything is just in the tip of the tongue. And the Bible says something about
Control your tongue.
control your tongue, right? It can be
Life or
poisonous.
death.
Yeah, you can speak death on somebody, and so to me, the silence is a process. So I can, calm down, relax, and then what I need to say needs to come out, not.
And the person like me that wants to reconcile doesn't, when you walk away or say, I'm going to go to work, or, we'll talk about this later, don't text them a whole paragraph to get it resolved on text before they get back from work or before they process. I used to do that. I used to text you and
A book.
a book. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, don't ever text me a book. So I'm no longer
He's
reading
not
it.
even
Oh,
reading
I
it
do not
anyways.
like group text. I don't like books.
But I'm saying for the person that is like me that wants it resolved right then and there, and they just can't think about anything else, and the person has left and told them, let me think about this, let me process this. Don't text them while they're trying to process or talk, or call them.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. As much as it's difficult for me to get upset in an argument and not say anything, because I have so much to say. But what am I gonna say? Is it correct? Same thing with text. So the second,
and notes written. I write you notes, and they can be good notes, like in a lunchbox or on your coffee or in a book that you're gonna open and find later. Or I make those intentional. I try to.
Yeah. I haven't.
Still waiting.
I'll send you a text.
I'm just kidding. Yeah,
I'll send you a text.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't done any of that. So, one thing I do communicate is don't do anything if you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Don't do anything ever.
And for something in return, like I don't expect notes because I leave notes.
Yeah, and expect the other person to do it. I think that's something that I've made very clear. Yeah. If I do something nice for her, I don't expect something in return. Okay, and before it was,
we always did.
Well, I told you I love you. You're not gonna tell me you love me back.
Yeah.
Why you not telling me you love me back, Walter?
Well, mine was I questioned if you loved me, so that was
right. And I will always love you regardless, But the thing is
so we weren't communicating right.
We were not communicating right. Okay, and I'm not always gonna like you.
No,
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have our disagreements. We're not gonna agree with each other. So we talked about verbal, nonverbal, written, and of course visual. What can we do, guys, as individuals to show the person that we love each other? There's still little for us. It's a lot. There's still a lot of growth, right? We've learned in that communication it was a very lack and a factor, or it's something that we lacked, but it was a big factor on our separation the hard way. And at the end, again, we just when we separated, and that was it. But when we got back together, even when we were through the separation, we still didn't communicate much.
So visual for me, I think now, is little things like you'll see somebody folding the clothes or doing the dishes or like washing the car or mowing the grass or cleaning. Like I know that's like what task that we do or we have to do, but that's still visual. Like if you see someone struggling to get the things done that needs to be done, then you'll just step in. To me, that's visual communication.
Yeah. So, I should never see you struggle. You should always communicate. And I think we just had a disagreement this past weekend. Communication is key, and you like to do a lot of things. You like to overdo, like you multitasking.
Overachiever all the time.
You're multitasking, and I get it. So do I. But you mentioned that you made a decision because you had too much going on. But as a husband, if you are overwhelmed, I want you to communicate with me. I need help. Can you do this? And I think after the next day after we had that, you said, hey, I'm gonna go let the dogs out for my parents, but I wanted to come with you in a way because I didn't want you to go alone. But then you're like, oh, do you ready to stay here? Can you unload the dishwasher for me? Great, I did it. No problem. So communication is big. If you should never be overwhelmed, tired in this marriage because you think that you feel like you're doing too much. If you need to communicate with me, I can't read your mind.
Yeah. Well, that was lack of communication before,
Right.
because we thought the other person could read our minds.
Yeah.
So
And so communication is big. So let's close this out today. I will say communication is probably one of the most important things in a relationship. Reevaluate don't reevaluate how the other person communicates to you. Are you communicating with your spouse?
but you do need to understand their communication language, I guess you can say,
Yeah.
and what they prefer, and then kind of discuss that too, and then
Yeah.
it'll.
And of course, we just discussed, for her is she wants to resolve things right away. For me, to me, I thought silence was just a thing, but no, it is a thing for me. Like if I think it's important, or a disagreement, or a fight, or something that, I disagreed on, silence to process what I do. And this is everything for me now, even work, even speaking. I learned that silence is not a bad thing. It's a way to process something, so what you can say or what you say is effective. You want meaning to what you have to say, and of course the right way, not the bad meaning, right?
Yeah.
And so thank you guys. You have anything else? Closing remarks, concerns, anything you want to communicate?
No, not right now.
Okay. It's not easy.
No.
Marriage is not easy. We have to put in the work. Jennifer and I have to put in the work. And we'll be tested. We'll go through trials. We'll go through, temptations. We'll go through a lot of things. But you have to believe, you have to trust, you have to communicate. And the biggest thing is, communicate with God. That's the most important one. Communicate with God what He has for you and what He has for us as a couple. What can we do better? And that's the biggest piece, God in the center. And I believe this podcast we are about to do, or this talk, marriage counseling, that's going to be our main topic, is God in the center.
Conference.
Yeah, the marriage conference. Yeah. See?
Say counseling.
Yeah.
We're not
Oh,
counselors.
my bad. I said counseling.
The marriage conference we're about to
I'm
do.
already thinking forward. What am I going to say and things like that. So anyways, marriage conference. And that's going to be the main topic for people to get out of this marriage conference that we got, is God in the center of us and not divided between us. Okay, so let's pray. All right. God, I want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here. The blessings you have given us, that you have allowed us. Lord, thank you for those words. Thank you for this podcast. Thank you for those who listen. And I pray that those marriages, whatever relationships there are, whether it is, parent relationship, whether it's marriage, whether it's girlfriend, boyfriend, any relationship out there, that they get something valuable of what we have to say. But at the end, God, we love for people to see the work that you've doing through us. We are just vessels that are working for you. God, we'll take no credit, because what you're doing here is you through us. You've made us strong. You brought us together and made this relationship for you rather than for us. So God, I want to say thank you and bless all those relationships that are in need. Bring every marriage together, and every marriage every spouse can understand the other. Of course, communication through you and with you is at most important. In Jesus' name, amen. How was that?
Bye. Because they can't.